These Air Jordan 1s are going to be retailing for close to a rack. People have been lining up since 7 in the morning just to go into a raffle for the Bred 4 Reimagined. One of the most exciting and limited Crocs collabs was announced this week, and Kobe Bryant's statue was finally unveiled. And his wife Vanessa had some choice words for the haters out there. All of these stories and plenty more in this week's sneaker wrap. Let's start this week's news recap off by looking back at some of this week's biggest sneaker releases. Earlier in the week on Monday, we had the Grammys. During Travis Scott's performance, a freaky shock drop of his Jumpman Jacks went live on his website. Hardly any pairs were made available. Very few people got their hands on them, but the people that did get their hands on them decided to float them on StockX for some crazy prices. Some people were looking for like 4K for these. Now prices have kind of stabilized on them, but they are still crazy. A whole bunch of sizes have sold since Monday, but the most recent sale I'm looking at here is about £1,400, which is something like $1,700. And so the hype is definitely real. There are people out there completely willing to part with this extra cash just to get their hands on these pairs early. We also had the UK EU release of the Air Jordan 1 Low Year of the Dragons. If you guys wanted to check out my review, I will link a card above for you to check out. And then we also had the release of the Kobe 8 Radiant Emerald alongside the purple pair, and this release was set to coincide with the revealing of Kobe's brand new statue. Before unveiling the statue, Kobe's wife Vanessa had a few choice words for the haters that might not like the statue. She said that Kobe himself had chosen this pose. It's of course him pointing to the sky after celebrating his monumental 81-point game. And she said, if you don't like it, then tough shit. Rightio, so let's get into the news. I want to start off by talking about live streamer Kai Cenat, who announced that he has signed with Nike on one of his streams. Now this news has been met with a really mixed response online from what I've seen. A lot of people seem to be really critical of Nike for choosing this guy because maybe they don't watch him on stream or they're not familiar with the type of clout that streamers have these days. But the reality is, streaming has never been more popular. These guys command a huge audience and they have a lot of influence over that same said audience. And so it's simply a reflection of the time that people that are being chosen to represent Nike aren't necessarily on a kind of football field or a basketball court or any type of athletic arena. And so what do you guys think? Do you think this is a good move for Nike? At the end of the day, if it makes money, it makes sense, right? Yesterday marked the 10-year anniversary since the release of probably the most hyped up sneaker of all time, or at least one of them, the Nike Air Yeezy 2 Red Octobers. This pair literally shock dropped in the shock drop of all shock drops. $250 was the retail price, or around £200 at the time. And so the question is, can you guys remember where you were and what you were up to when the sneaker dropped back in 2014? Because I can, and I remember taking an L. I was too late. Earlier in the week, Riff Los Angeles had to close their doors because of massive flooding. In this video, you can see this guy walking across the street from the store with his shoes all bagged up. I can't help but think that a better idea would be to have just removed the shoes to remove all risk of them getting ruined. That seems to me like the smart thing to do, but doing that would have taken away the opportunity to create this viral moment. All right, let's talk about the Bred Reimagined 4. This has been probably the most trending sneaker in terms of news and coverage and reviews and updates and stuff over the past couple of weeks now. And so I don't want to belabor the point, but over there in the US, you guys had the Dick's Sporting Goods in-store raffle release for these, where we can see some pictures here of people staying up, or getting up rather, from like 7 in the morning just to get in store to sign up for these. Here in London, or here in the UK rather, today, we had one of these app location type releases where if you are within a certain distance of the Nike Town London, or I think it was BSTN store here in London, you were able to reserve your pair. Sneaker Reserve, I think that's the name of it. And just another friendly reminder to you guys not to jump the gun early and go onto the resale markets and overpay for these. The wider release is set to go down next Saturday on the Sneakers app. I don't really see these reselling for much over retail when they eventually do drop this time next week. Earlier in the week, you guys might have seen this video floating around of these two gentlemen. One guy seems to be handing another guy boxes of the upcoming Air Jordan 4 Bred reimagined, and a lot of people were quick to call this activity backdooring. But since that video went viral, a lot of people from Miami who actually know these guys in this video have been quick to comment that this isn't actually backdooring. It is a legitimate delivery of goods that is happening on the streets because the retail store that they're supposed to be delivered to is undergoing construction or something. And so I just wanted to take a moment to potentially clear this up. We don't have any direct evidence that this is backdooring. It may well not be, but at this point everybody probably got their clicks and their views anyway. Right, let's mix it up and talk a little bit about some Supreme news now. It's not long before they open up shop again for the upcoming spring and summer collection, and one of the most exciting looking collabs that we have to look forward to is this collab with Maison Margela of Paris. There are some pretty cool pieces, most notably the box logo hoodie and t-shirt, as well as some shoes, as well as these underpants that look pretty interesting. I've already got a few pairs of these, to be honest. Let's talk about these Jordan 1 wings. We have a set of low tops retailing at $875, a set of high tops at $975, and then an apparel line coming out alongside these things with prices starting at $320 for a t-shirt. Bro. And the reason for the price hike is because of the materials that are being used to make these shoes, as well as the fact that they are handcrafted in Italy. You guys might remember some time ago now they did something kind of similar with the Pinnacle Jordan 1s and the Pinnacle Jordan 4s. But those prices, although they were a lot higher than the normal standard price, were nowhere near these prices. And so is this a little bit tone deaf from Nike and Jordan brand, given the state of the economy and the cost of living crisis a lot of us are still in the midst of? Or is this a smart move because they have shown in recent years that they do want to market themselves to the more luxury market with collabs with Louis Vuitton and Dior and stuff like that? And given the price point and the quality, these will certainly have a lot of people out there interested, but I think the regular, normal sneaker consumer is going to be put off these because they look pretty average, it has to be said. We've got some very plain Jane looking colorways, and to be paying nearly a rack retail isn't something I think most of us are going to be down with. What are your guys' thoughts on this? Let me know. Right, let's talk about some upcoming sneakers. I want to start off with these. These are the Crocs and Pollex Salehi Bamberry collab with none other than Futura. These are going to be very limited to 1,000 pairs only, and they're going to be launching on the BA Sponge website on February the 15th. So coming up very, very soon indeed. The colorway looks pretty cool, obviously inspired by Futura Laboratories artwork, and I think will inevitably resell for a lot of money given how rare these are. What do you guys think of these? The Nike SB Force 58 has borrowed heavily from one of Travis Scott's best colorways of all time, the reverse mocha, to try to sell some units, it seems. And whilst it is a really nice colorway, I'm not a big fan of this model, to be honest. I actually, as a skate shoe, much prefer this model from New Balance. These are the New Balance 480 numerics, and this particular colorway is called the Juniper. Now, some online sneaker sites have been sharing information that these are reselling for like $600, $700, $800 online. And whilst there are pairs of these that are being floated on these apps for that as an asking price, there's no sales data to confirm that people out there are actually paying this type of money for them. Now, even though this particular sneaker has gone viral over the past week because a lot of people are loving the colorway and pointing to some similarities between this model and the SB Dunk, it should be noted that the New Balance numeric line goes all the way back to 2013. But the 480 silhouette from New Balance actually predates the Nike SB Dunk. And so for people out there trying to say that New Balance are just ripping off the SB, need to do a little bit more research. Speaking of cap, it wasn't that long ago that the Sole Supplier page here in the UK posted rumors as well as mock-ups of the potential Nike and Corteiz collab on the Air Huarache. It was actually Clint419, the owner of Corteiz himself, who commented cap on the post, suggesting that it was no more than a salacious rumor. But in more recent times, we have seen some more credible images of renderings of the potential collab featuring 3 different colorways of the Air Huarache. But we've now seen some updated mock-ups based on those renderings, and these, I've got to say, look really cool. They do have parts of the community divided though. Old school sneakerheads that have been in the game for a minute, that have maybe taken part in one of the many Huarache trends that have been and gone over the past 15, 20 odd years, really like this model as a little bit of a throwback and something a little bit different. But some of the newer gen sneakerheads are saying that this model is trash and they would have way preferred them to have done something on a Dunk or something predictable. I personally think all three colorways are really cool, and I hope these come off. I'll be in the market for a pair of these. What about you? Let me know. Brand new Air Max alerts. We're not far off being a month away from Air Max Day for 2024. And to celebrate the big day, Nike generally bring out an exciting new Air Max design, and this year's version is pretty cool. These are being called the Air Max DNs. And these are supposed to be like a sequel to the very popular Air Max TN, which used to be called the 125s here in the UK, especially in London, have a lot of popularity here. I know that TNs have a huge amount of popularity down under in Australia, right? And I know that they're also really popular in other parts of Europe. I do think this particular silhouette looks really nice. They come packed with this really cool technology, an air unit system of dual pressure tubes. It creates a reactive type sensation with every step. The marketing video that you can see here wheeled out alongside them looks pretty cool, and they have some pretty nice colorways, including this panda colorway. I do think this is one of the better new Air Max Day releases we've seen in recent years, but will these go on to be a certified hood classic like the TNs? I'm not so sure just now, but if you think they're hot, let me know down below. Speaking of new Nikes, we have a new Nike Drake shoe. These are being called the Nocta Air Zoom Drive. And I know what you're probably thinking, bro, that is not a Nike, that is a Sketcher, some kind of new age step up. And I'll certainly agree, these do look very sketchery. Admittedly, in certain colorways like the all black colorway, they don't look too bad. When you turn the lights off, they don't look too bad. They kind of have a bit of reflective action going about them. But I've got to say, when it comes to shoes and Drake, he nearly always misses, in my opinion. I think one of the best shoes he's done are the Nocta Glides, but apart from that, I feel like pretty much all of them are hot garbage, including these. But if you disagree, hey, feel free to let me know. So we've got some more Kobe Bryant sneaker news. We've seen some updated images as well as a release date for the bicoastals. They're coming out this summer, May the 31st for 190 bucks. These are also known as the girl dads. And according to these images, these look really nice. I think one of the sneakers I'm low-key most excited about this year is a sneaker that not a lot of people are talking about, but it's these, the Hot Lava Nike Air Tech Challenge 2, the Andre Agassi joints. These are set to come out in the fall, and according to the images we can see here of the early pairs, as well as the pair that Andre Agassi himself has been seen rocking this past week, these are going to come out with the whole retro vintage feel about them, with the, at this point, obligatory sailed out midsole. Now, the other purpose that these will also facilitate is sole swaps or donor midsoles for all of you guys out there that have Nike Air Yeezy 2s that are at this point no doubt crumbling. So I'm definitely going to be going for these. What about you guys? Okay, to finish off this week, let's talk about some of this week's most exciting upcoming sneaker releases, and there are a few. On February the 14th, there are a few releases. We have the Air Force 1 Low Chinese New Year. This is an Asian release only, but this sneaker has gone viral for the incredible level of details and quality in it. If any of my Asian audience out there wants to plug me with these, let me know in the DMs on IG. You also have the metallic gold Jordan 1 highs, which there was a shock drop for that took the place of the Bred 4 shock drop about a week ago. And also on the same day, the 14th, you have the Foamposite 1 eggplant colorway. Then on the 15th, you have the Crocs and Pollex Salehi Banbury Futura collab release. Remember, that is going to be going down on the Be a Sponge website. I think on the 15th, you also have the Jound New Balance 2002 Gore-Tex collab that's going to be available on the Jound website. Also on the 15th, at least here in the UK, you have the KD4 Galaxies. 16th of Feb for you guys in the US, you have the Jordan 1 High 85 Metallic Burgundy. And then on the 17th, obviously, it's the release of the week, probably the release of the year thus far, the Jordan 4 Bred Reimagined on the Nike Sneakers app. You also on the same day have the Bad Bunny CL Response. And that is about it for this week's upcoming sneaker releases. Heaps of big bangers. I'm definitely going to be going for the KD4 Galaxies, and I'll probably go for the bred reimagined, even though I still have my 2019 pair that don't have that many miles on them. But yeah, let me know what you guys are going for down below. And that is it for this week's sneaker wrap. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch the video. Do me a favor and hit that like button before you bounce, and don't forget to go and check me out over on IG and TikTok so you can keep up with me in real time as well as support my short form content. Have an awesome day, you guys, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care for now, and peace.